So you haven't met up with Genghis?
No. Just talked to Vincent.
Oh, and he's decided that Genghis isn't worth seeing tonight.
Yeah, he had some things to do and...
I sort of lean back in my seat a little. Tell her, come on, man, just wake him up. Hit him or something.
I'm sure it would have been unreasonable for us to be able to handle all three of them in a single evening. Alan?
Yeah.
There's an unmistakable aroma to you. Have you been kissing a camel? This is Red Moon Role-Playing.
Funny story, man.
No. It's too late now. Maybe take a tour through the duty-free and have some lovely women spray you with an abundance of perfume because...
Yeah, well, shit, I thought I got that off.
Actually, it probably won't matter. I've gained some intelligence on one of the individuals who we're supposed to be meeting.
Yeah.
Oh, do tell.
And it sounds like he's likely to have a somewhat feral odour to him as well.
Oh, how do you mean?
So, the word on the grapevine, at least via my family, is that one of these individuals is some Russian maniac by the name of Malenkov, Siberian, strange mother fixation, killed his own father, nearly frozen to death, embraced from that, now considered a war hero by a group known as the Sabbat, who I can't say I've ever heard of, but it sounds vaguely religious. And apparently he has various issues, and he is now coming into Chicago, and we are to be his entourage, bodyguards, whatever it is, babysitters.
Wow, that sounds messed up.
Yes, that's quite impressive resume. How did you find all that out?
Well, I have a family member who is often too keen to talk, and I suspect it's because he likes to drink. He likes drinks that are somewhat laced with intoxicants, things that make lips looser, if you see what I mean.
I see.
It does mean he's prone to flights of fancy, so I don't know how much of what he says is true. But he sometimes comes out with all this, you are the reflection of my inner soul, and I am the reflection of your outer being, and you need to let me into your mind. So it's all nonsense, but sometimes he comes out with something salient, and in this case, I've no reason to doubt him, because we know nothing about these people arriving.
Well, I suppose now we do. Still, I guess it doesn't change much. The task is simply get them in the car, take them to my place I'm taking them to, and then tomorrow night, get them to the old Succubus Club. So, I guess that's that, and we've taken care of 2 of 3 individuals. Alan here did a good job with crooks, apparently.
Shit, you're right, I didn't notice this first. This really stinks, man.
Yes, it does.
Yes, even I can sort of sense something's off.
I'll go get some perfume or something, and I do as he says, and I look out for this perfume trying things.
As he goes off, I lead over to Dolph and say, well, despite his appearance today, he did actually do what he told him to do, so that was a pleasant surprise.
Well, I don't doubt that he is perfectly capable. It's just if you're meeting guests, even if one of them is supposed to be repugnant, you don't turn up smelling like a wet dog. Or worse. Can't fathom what he did after we parted company with him, where he sleeps, or what with. And I think some things are probably best left unknown.
Well, I mean, it could be worse. He could be, they do say the gangrel. Like that, right?
Well, I have heard tales about his particular breed, that they at least by their epithet, like to sleep in the sewers, so I suppose we just have to be grateful he hasn't arrived smelling of shit.
My God, you don't think he does sleep in the sewers, do you?
Well, that's the thing, I don't know. They're so commonly called sewer rats, I'm given to understand. But my thinking is...
A little bit later, I come back in a nice, actually with a newly bought shirt, probably Dolce & Gabbana or some other fancy brand, peach colored, and I smell strongly of several kinds of perfume.
You just taking every single kind of perfume you could find in the store. You don't really know what matches you. You just took something and put on.
And I'm quite happy about that.
Well, you smell like a bouquet, and the price tag is still on. Alan.
Shit. Let me get that.
But it's a better job. Good man. Good.
Yeah, well, thanks. I could use this at a gig sometime, yeah.
Or not. Now, gentlemen, shall we... I suppose we wait near the car we've been given? Who had the keys again?
I don't remember being given any keys. I assume it's been left unlocked, or it's.
Oh yeah, no wait, it's here in the welcome package.
There we go. Good
right.
Again. Good work, Alan. Good work. See, you're learning.
No worries.
No need to patronise him, Vincent.
I'm not being patronising.
I
talk like this to everyone.
Yeah, I got it right here. So car should be outside, like they said. And I look at my watch. Is it time? Are they about to come in?
Well, it's in half an hour, so you have half an hour to figure out where this Herix is at Terminal 5, as instructed in the letter you were given.
Herix Grosses, it says. And then we're gonna go to Zone H22, Terminal 5 parking lot. Yeah, that should be easy enough to find. So, Herix Grosses? I'll look around.
Are you in Terminal 5 now?
Yeah.
And it's busy as hell. It is a Friday night. It's a big travel night. So there are people everywhere. And again, you see heavily armed guards just walking around. It seems like although Flyboy has promised not to mingle with your business, he's definitely still on a lookout. And he is ready for if anything happens. You arrive at time around Herrick's grocer, and the delegates actually arrives soon after, and they walk silently towards the store, and there's a long walk from the arrivals to the grocers, so it gives you a lot of time to study the two vampires. And they walk side by side, but they don't seem like they want to be near each other. And that's understandable if you really study them. There's a young woman. She's short, but she has broad shoulders. She has a muscular frame. Her hair is long and it's chestnut brown. Her face is kind of indicating East Asian ancestry. She ties a colorful belt firmly around her waist of her long coat as she approaches. And does any one of you want to make a wits investigation roll?
I would, yes.
Yes.
Unfortunately, that was only one success.
Oh, well, that's unfortunately not enough. But what you do see is she looks polished and confident. And she looks so much in contrast to her traveling companion, who, where people would turn their heads to admire the girl's confident beauty, they quickly withdraw when they see the looks of her male companion and smell him. He is tall and lanky. He has anemic skin that stretches across like some sharp cheekbones. He has hollow eyes. And it kind of just helps him look really emaciated. He has a bald head, and it's wrinkled and flaky. His beard is wild and untamed and goes to around his chest. He has a pair of chapped lips hidden underneath it. He holds his arms in front of him with joined hands, almost like he's thinking about something or planning or plotting something. And he has so many rings on his hands that they kind of scrape together as he's moving his fingers, and his eye shifts nervously from side to side, almost manically. And a pair of models catches up with them. And you don't know who they are, but they look much different than these two vampires that obviously haven't done a lot to hide that they look dead. The female vampire looks to be much more in control of her looks than the male vampire, who really looks like a walking corpse. And they arrive to you shortly after. The girl puts out her handshake to just all of you at the same time, waiting for someone to take her hand.
I step forwards, but I don't extend my hand because I don't shake hands. And I say, "Hello. I believe we are your ride for the evening."
Well,
And as she's standing there with her arms outstretched and he is not taking it, I nervously step in and I shake her hand.
well, hello. Clan La Sombra appreciates the welcoming committee, she says before letting your hand go.
It's our pleasure, madam. Sir.
It passes quickly, but in my mind I'm thinking, wait, what? La Sombra? And I just sort of smile and go, "Ha! Clan La Sombra. You don't normally visit us?"
No, this would be the first time, I believe, yeah?
But not for your companion. Malenkov, I believe your name is.
Malenkov, who he's standing in the background and he looks up at you with these hollow, dead eyes, almost like you've said something very offensive to him. And he just snarls at you.
Well, it wasn't really going to be a case of mistaken identity between the two of these, was it? Mr. Malenkov, I understand you've been to our city before. Welcome back. Yes, we are merely to ferry you from here to somewhere safe until tomorrow evening, where you will be introduced to the prince. So I hope that whatever your needs are, we can satisfy them.
I'm sure you can't.
Let's get going. Because, frankly, this is a very populated place with an awful lot of eyes.
Right. Let's get this shit show on the road, he says. He walks behind you all of the time, looking shifty-eyed constantly. Ciara is walking beside you, and she's trying to, make conversation. And as you're walking there, she asks you, so, who are you exactly? I believe since the big guy up there chose you to pick us up, you must be some important people here in Chicago.
Well, actually, yes. I am Vincent Taylor. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Sierra.
Sierra. Nice. Yes, I have quite a few connections in the local community. I'm familiar with some of the Primogen, and, I haven't that familiar with the prince. My sire is very on good terms with him.
Oh, well, that's wonderful. It's always good to be on good terms with your sire, isn't it? That's something we can agree on.
Yes. So, actually, no. Maybe better to talk properly when we're in the car. The individuals around here aren't the most welcoming.
Oh, is that so? I believe it. It is one of our kind that is running the space, isn't it?
I kind of give a little look and say, I see.
I mean, what? I'm sorry. Maybe it's just because I'm not so afraid of breaking the masquerade. I don't really care much about it.
Well, Sierra, I think you said your name was. My name is Dolph.
Hello, Dolph. Nice to meet you.
It's a pleasure. It may not be your concern for the city, maintaining pretenses and the like, but I can assure you that if you don't It's not the city that would suffer, it would be you and your friend here. Because all those armed security that you saw in the airport, they look for people like you who stand out and wander around acting as if they don't care about pretense. So I suggest just, playing the game while you're here and upholding airs and graces, and then when you go back to wherever it is you came from, you can be whatever little monster you want to be.
Oh, don't worry. I'm not here to make any mess, Dolph. I'm here to have a conversation and a proposition for your dear Prince Jackson. Trust me, I would never be here to make mess. I can't say that for Malnkov. I don't really know what goes on in his mind sometimes. He's here. So I guess we have to deal with that, don't we?
You were sort of a couple? I'm sorry. I'm Dr. Alan Smythe Winters, and then I immediately flinch as I never introduced myself with my title, but something about this whole society thing has made me nervous.
Did you? Oh, no, we are not a couple.
Yeah. I mean, no offense. I mean, you obviously look.
I'm sorry. I do take a bit of offense, but it's.
I'm so sorry. Oh shit. I'm so sorry. No. I mean, I mean associates. I mean, you working together or something.
I guess you can call us siblings in a way. I think that's the closest we get to each other in any way, shape, or form.
Of course. Don't worry, Alan won't ask any more silly questions. At
no,
least while we're outside
it's
the car.
fine. It's fine. I can tell that you're new, aren't you?
Yeah, well, yeah, I have. They say I have a lot to learn. I'm learning that as I go. Sorry.
No. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I am. I will not take any offense. I understand why you ask, but please look at me. And she gestures and makes a hand gesture up and down herself, and look at him. I mean, it doesn't really scream couple.
No,
does it?
No, definitely not. No, definitely not. Very nice to meet you, Mrs. Sierra.
Well, I'm glad you agree with that, because otherwise I would have been very depressed.
Oh, we wouldn't want that, would we?
No, we definitely wouldn't want that. So, where are we going right now?
We are going to our vehicle, and then we're going to take a little drive to a place where you can relax, be comfortable for the evening.
Oh, okay. Well, I believe we are staying within the city, right?
That's right. To be honest, once we arrive at the location, I see no reason you can't go and help yourself to something to eat. But maybe we better check. You don't want to poach on someone's territory by mistake. It does happen in time to time.
Territory, right. Oh, yeah, all the rules. It's something I really have to get used to, isn't it? All the rules, all the laws of the Camarilla, the big prince guy that we all have to listen to. Well, it's gonna be fun.
You are bold as brass, aren't you? There are various words we're not supposed to really say in public forums.
Oh yeah, there's so many things we're not supposed to do, isn't there, Dolph?
I giggle a bit at this. She's an interesting one, this one.
At Alan giggling, I just sort of give him a bit of a look.
You are aware, Sierra, that the people who aren't like us are slightly more aware and have been killing us by the cartload in various cities.
Yeah, I'm sure. Very dangerous.
And your group hasn't been exempt from that, so I'm trying to give you advice, I'm trying to help. When I'm telling you not to say things in public, I'm not doing it because I'm trying to be the boss. I'm doing it because we have got the order to bring you somewhere safely, and if you run your mouth and it gets your head blown off, we get in trouble.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, I'm not trying to get you in trouble. I'm just kind of... it's like going to a new country, like a new culture, and I'm trying to figure out where to put my feet. So...
where have you been traveling from, if you don't mind me asking?
Not far away, but the culture is very different when you come from a city like ours. I'm sure I'm not supposed to say the word, but if I whispered very, very, very lowly, maybe... That's a bad city, yeah. It's very different coming to a city like this. That's so in control with a set of laws and rules and a prince.
Yes, well, they're there for a reason. But again, if we get in the car, we can speak more freely. And I will move to our vehicle and sort of grab Alan's shoulder, give him a bit of a tap and go, well, Alan, get the... You can drive, can't you?
Yeah. I'm happy to drive, sure.
You have all reached the car. It's a black van that is parked exactly the place it was set in the letter that it would be parked. And it has its lights off, there is no driver. It's just a black van with tinted windows. And when you walk outside, the rain is slowly falling on the parking lot pavement, making it shine with the glowing lights above it.
I wrinkle my nose a little. I don't like getting wet. I kind of rush to the vehicle to open those doors and then look at our two guests and say, well, do come in.
I'm looking at the whole entourage, like, are those models following them supposed to enter as well?
Well, the two models are still there. They are just following primarily Malenkov.
Excuse me, Mr. Malenkov.
What?
Just want to check, you can speak English, can't you?
Is that a fucking joke?
No? Okay, well, I'm glad you can, because it means I can ask you, who are these two people following you? If you are in need of food, we can arrange that later. We don't need people following you around. If they're servants, then fair enough.
Yeah, there's whatever. Call them whatever the fuck you want. They're coming with me.
I look at Dolph, sort of give a shrug, and I get into the driver's seat. Yeah.
So, Sierra has stopped talking. She is kind of just observing the street as you start driving, almost like she's mapping out where she is. She might seem like she's very lighthearted and doesn't really care much for the things she's been sent on, but she almost seems a little more calculated now, way more quiet at least. And now it's actually Malenkov that speaks up. He sits on not the back seat, but the seat right in front of it. And so he's in the middle seat. He's spreading his legs, kind of putting his arms on the headrests, really taking up a lot of space on purpose. And he sighs, looks around, studies every single person in the car. What a shithole this is. I've been on the front line and fought wars with worse.
Well, I mean, this isn't our van.
The worst this planet has to offer, and Chicago is still worse than this. What a fucking place this is.
Oh, the city. Yes, it does have its faults.
He spits on the van floor and looks up at you. And who the fuck are you supposed to be?
I'm one of the happy people here to help you for whatever reason you're here in our vile city that you'd rather not be in.
He studies you for a second before a smile appears on his lips, and he says, "Ah, the ministry, aren't you?"
Well, is it really that obvious? Do I smell of snake oil or something?
No, you're just one of those people that you finally worked out that your God is dead, and now you've become an all-faith church. Christ, the fact that you are even allowed in a domain makes me sick. My kind have spent centuries stamping on your kind. He looks over at Alan, And he says, "What's a Nosferatu in here? The smell is fucking unmistakable. How the prince of this domain allows walking breakers of the Masquerade to emerge from their rat's nests and sewer homes is beyond me. Maybe he doesn't give a fuck if you're destroyed by a group of hunters."
Now, remember, that clan in particular are actually quite good at being subtle.
Is that the Toreador speaking? Yeah, the clan everyone knows exists, but that's really it, isn't it? You're too politically unintelligent to contribute anything of value, and you can't use your hands for anything practical, so you resort to your looks. What a waste of vitae.
I am not a Toreador. Thank you very much.
While I agree that this van is going to require a new pine fresh after a couple of its current occupants have vacated it, this posturing that you're doing is... If you're trying to impress us, then congratulations, we're very impressed.
Yeah, you fucking should be.
You could sniff out 2 of the 3 of us.
Oh, you're not a Toreador, then you must be... Ventru, right? Yeah. The Wonder Children of the Camarilla. The Clan of Kings.
That's correct.
Now tell me, does the prince like his balls played with, or he's more straight to the point kind of guy?
Oh, I wouldn't know. I mean, not my fault that our clan are the ones that lead us in these modern nights, while if I remember correctly, your clan likes to hide away from everyone.
Not really, no. We actually enjoy the light, the front part of the stage, if you will.
Well,
but I don't assume a fucking neonate knows anything about my clan or who I am.
We know you have some mummy issues.
He looks over at you, glares at you. What did you say?
Perhaps, with all due respect to your age and clan and reasons for being here, etc., and so forth, we also know a fair amount about you. So we could spend this entire journey flinging insults at each other and being children, or we could sit in silence, maybe put something on the radio, and get to where we're going and not have to share another fucking word.
I quickly start fiddling with the radio, giving a sort of frown at all this that's been flying back and forth.
Turn that shit off.
Sorry, you said turn it up?
Maybe, Alan, you should just get us... Speaking of which, you didn't actually answer that first question, Mr. Malenkov. Who are the 2 friends of yours?
I believe your friend over there called them servants.
Ah, your entourage.
Sure.
Well, that's fine then. Alright, let's all have a nice, pleasant evening drive.
So, where do you go to kill mortals here?
Well, a funny thing, when you kill
You don't have to fucking tell me what happens when you kill a mortal. Where do you go to kill a fucking mortal?
We don't.
Right. Of course you don't.
You can go to the reindeer trough. I understand it's a very popular spot.
He goes quiet again. He looks at you.
If we're going to carry on talking, we will carry on talking, Mr. Malenkov. Really, it's entirely up to you how much you want to hear me say.
Sierra looks over at Malenkov. Malenkov, can you just for once just be quiet and not try and stir up a situation? We're here on business and nothing else, not for your fucking pleasures or whatever you're talking about. You're not going to kill any mortals. Just calm down. Treat these people here with some respect and stop whatever the fuck you're trying to do, okay? Malenkov sits back in his seat. He's obviously, he's not feeling defeated. He feels quite satisfied with his insults, but he's being quiet now. So this is your opportunity to actually talk to this couple that just arrived in the city. So if you have any questions or anything you want to talk to them about, this is your time, because there's quite a drive from the airport into the apartment.
I mean, I get myself comfortable. I try and break the ice after a while with a comment like, "Don't get me wrong, I agree that the Clan of the Rose, for the most part, are a bunch of individuals who don't really know anything, but they do get by looking pretty. But, Miss Sierra, maybe you could tell us what is bringing you as representatives, I suppose, to our city, if that's not too secret."
I mean, secret? No, it's not. We are here on matters that, as for now, only concerns Prince Jackson's and ourselves. So I believe if your prince wanted you to know why we're here, he probably would have told you.
That's reasonable enough.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be rude, but...
No need for loose lips to sink ships.
It's actually your prince... Yeah, it's your prince's, order. I don't mind you knowing, but he does.
Very well. In that case, Mr. Malenkov, perhaps your entourage will be enough for your feeding activities for the evening.
Whatever the fuck you just said, with the words that came out of your mouth, sure. I don't need your food.
Well, it wasn't going to be my food. I don't share. And at that dead silence after that, I just sort of look at Dolph.
Meanwhile, I'm just sitting up front and I'm thinking more and more that I'd so much rather be somewhere else than this, and I reluctantly try to start taking things in, what they're saying about these different clans and stuff. Not opening my mouth again when everyone is just telling me to shut up.
Whitney Houston is playing loudly in this car.
I'll smile sweetly at Malenkov and turn to Sierra. I'd only have one question for you. Would you prefer that we call you Sierra, or is there something more formal? And this isn't the question.
Oh, well, you can call me Sierra, you can call me Sierra Wentberes. That's my full name. It's up to you. You can just call me Sierra. It's not a problem.
Well, if you're happy to call me Dolph, I'll call you Sierra.
Yeah. No problem.
I just wanted to know, do you need us with you all night? Because you both seem perfectly capable of looking after yourselves.
I mean, no. I basically, I don't know any more than you do. We've been told that we're going to be picked up and taken care of in the city, so that's what I know.
Well, as your friend doesn't appear to need any kind of sustenance, and I am sure that Alan and Vincent can get you whatever you need if you decide you need a drink. I probably won't be stuck at your side for the entire night. I have various business arrangements and the like that I need to address.
That's fine. We are not here to disrupt anything. We're just here to have a meeting with the prince. That's all.
I appreciate that. Your understanding is very much gratefully received.
Indeed, and it's a good thing that we're all getting along so splendidly now. I also have things to do later, but again, you should find where we're going is secure, safe from any problems during the day, and also discreet. It's not somewhere that will pop up on the radar too much.
Yeah, I trust your judgment and your ability to store us here safely.
Of course. And I kind of again just sort of smile a bit awkwardly, leaning back in the car, in my mind going over things like Sabat, I do know the Sabat are. My side told me they're like the crazy people. And I'm actually internally a little concerned about the company I'm in, but I hide it well, I think.
You are noticing that for some reason there are a lot of roadblocks on your way into the city. A lot more than would be normal. And roadblocks you didn't see when you left the city and drove to the airport. And it just seemed like they're randomly scattered just to disrupt things. They're not blocking anything in particular. it just seems very odd to you. That you, Alan, you need to make a lot of D routes, and you need to kind of navigate streets you haven't navigated before. You don't really understand why all of the main roads seem to be either blocked or just you're not able to drive on them. So you have to constantly just make detours, and you're getting increasingly stressed because you're feeling tense in this car. You're not feeling very well. You don't know who these people are. You don't like Melankov. You don't know who Sierra is. You can feel that Dolph is getting annoyed. It's getting a little tense for you.
Yeah, and Vincent is snapping at me. So I feel like, yeah, I'm sitting there like, what is going on?
So it doesn't take long before you get to a route you actually think is the last kind of resort into the city. And there are 2 cars in front of you that seems to have collided, blocking the road. And there's a queue of 6 vehicles stretching behind these cars.
What is this? Come on! And I start just honking the horn annoyingly. This is the last entrance into the city. What's going on?
Alan, let's not draw attention to ourselves.
In fact, I kind of lean over and look around. In fact, Alan, do us a favor and just, back us up slowly and make sure we're on a main road again.
Main road's all closed. I've been going past all the ones getting back into the city. We're gonna have to circle all the way around if we want to get in.
Well, let's do that then. It's either that or we stay in a queue until Lord knows when.
Fine. And I start backing up.
When you start to back up, you notice that there are suddenly 3 cars behind you that are not letting you through.
Okay. Anyone expecting this?
You look around and you see that you are more or less surrounded by cars.
Any people?
There are people there. Yep.
What are they doing?
Some of them are sitting in the cars. There are 2 people who... Now you're kind of realizing that you're being set up. That they were kind of pretending to exchange information because of the collision. But they're now looking over at you. And you see that they do not look like normal everyday people. They look like punks. They have safety pins in their ears. They have tartan pants. They look like some of them could be armed. You don't really know.
I don't like this.
Look, it's a gang of throwbacks. Vincent, can you go out and flash your wallet at them like you did so well last night?
I'd love to, but I have a feeling that you know who these people are working with, and of course it would be the one person. Miss Sierra.
Yes. Is this something you have control over, or...?
Well, you know how it is with Anarch sympathizers and their ilk. They're in every city.
Yeah.
I think our local Anarchs might be trying to have a little fun with us, but maybe that's not going to be a problem. You two said you were war heroes, yes? Maybe after a little talk, if they cause trouble, you can just, I don't know, disperse them.
Oh, Melankov? I don't know. Melankov, do you wanna do anything here? Melankov is sitting with a big smile on his face, almost like he was waiting for them to ask him for help. He looks at you, looks at Sierra, looks outside, sighs and says, no. No, you know what? I don't give a fuck. Why don't you take care of this yourself, since you are such big men and can do anything and everything in this world? Just prove to me that you are as good as your words. Come on.
Well, that's really helpful of you.
Yeah, thanks, Melankov. And that's so typical of him, honestly.
I'll move to be in the front of the vehicle where Alan is, because I'm assuming that's where the windows are that we can actually wind down.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, let's begin with the parley. I lower the window. Hi, folks. Seems like a roadblock. How inconvenient.
And as you say that, Genghis steps out of a car, holding a bat in his hand, walking towards you nonchalantly, saying, "Yes, yes, what a inconvenience it is, isn't it?"
I'm going to make a composure plus resolve roll to see whether I don't just burst into frenzy seeing him.
Yeah.
As I sort of just look to Genghis and look to Dolph, I just sort of remark to everyone in the car, "You know, Dolph, maybe just stay where you are and don't do anything yet."
I fail.
Describe to me what you're doing.
I'm trying to open a sliding door whilst losing my mind, and I eventually manage it. I probably break the lock and rip it open, jump out, and just barrel towards Genghis with fangs bared.
As you're doing that, a couple of his punks are running towards him to help aid him. They can see what's going on. And people are also starting to attack the car where you guys are sitting in. So this is a full-on fight. You have 8 people around you that are currently trying to attack you. So I will give Matthew the first turn, as he is kind of doing a surprise attack. So Matthew, what are you doing?
My eyes are just locked with his, and I am charging towards him, and as my eyes are locked with his, they are intent on freezing him in place, making him realise the enemy he has made, the border he shouldn't have crossed, as I basically activate this discipline passively. Eyes of the Serpent, which can allow me to immobilise a victim. And if it works, I intend to leap on him and just bite his throat out.
Alright, I get 3 successes.
Okay, so I have got 5 successes.
Oh, is any of those 10s on your hunger dice?
Yes.
Oh.
You run towards Genghis. You are dead set on completely and utterly destroying him. The memory of what he did to Ada is still very fresh. The wound is still open, and there's nothing stopping you. You run towards him. As you do that, you almost involuntarily feel like there is some sort of power within you haven't felt before. There is something almost snake-like that is awakening inside of you. And because you are in a rage right now, you are in a frenzy, you actually managed to use this new ability for the first time. You almost feel like the blood is rushed to your eyes or your face. And if anyone saw you right now, they would almost see your irises change shape to almost like a cat-like, narrow lizard eye. And just in a brief second, and you lock eyes with Genghis, and he's about to yell something at you. And he lifts his hand and points at you, but he doesn't get any further, because he just freezes in place, completely and utterly. He does not move, and he falls to the ground in this position like he's made of stone. And this shocks the 2 people standing beside him so much that they don't focus on anything. I would actually allow you, if you want to attack any of them, you can do that. But I would say because you're in a frenzy, it would be more natural for you to go after Genghis.
I am fully intent on murdering Genghis. There's no question of ethics, of humanity, or self-control or anything like this. This is exactly what I am driven to do. He put my girlfriend in the hospital. I am going to put his ashes in the wind and his blood down my throat. I'll dive on him, fangs brandished, and just bite straight into his flesh. And if his followers do come to attention and do start wrestling me, then fuck it, I'll kill them as well.
You plunge your fangs into this vampire, and you've never tasted vampire blood before. It is almost orgasmic. It is the best thing you have ever felt on your tongue. It is a surge of energy beyond anything. Beyond any sex you've ever had, beyond any attention you've ever had, beyond any big job you've ever landed. This is amazing. You are sitting on top of him, almost on top of his chest, as you are just drinking and drinking and drinking from this vampire. And it almost seems like the world around you is in a standstill. Everyone is just looking at you. All of these people around here looked up to Genghis as being this unbeatable person. No one could ever attack Genghis, but right now they are seeing someone they don't know. Someone who's supposed to be less strong than him. Someone Genghis has used so much time on berating and saying, oh, this will be an easy job. Killing him. They are in utter shock. And many of the people around here are mortals. They've never seen anything like this. It's almost like the fight stops. Everyone is staring at this going on. So, with that said, I will let the turn go on to Craig.
It's almost as if everything happened in seconds. Just as I was saying for Dolph to remain where he was, suddenly he's out, on Genghis, and tearing at his throat. I'm trying to think as fast as possible. The biggest thing that comes to my mind, of course, is if they are anarchs. Does that mean... That normally means I think it's okay to kill them when they try and kill you, but then there are fucking mortals here. That son of a bitch. I look to Alan, and I look around, and I try and gauge. Everyone's watching, everyone's standing still. So, is no one moving anywhere or reaching for weapons?
None of his guys are doing anything. They're just staring at this.
Alan, this is a problem.
Malakoff perks up from behind. I thought we didn't feed on vampires in the Camarilla. This is fantastic.
I panic with all this going on at once. All these people suddenly around us and the pressure of what's all been happening. So I have completely dropped my facade, and there are bugs crawling out of my eyes and out of my mouth and around my face, and I was staring at the guy who was just attacking the car with a baseball bat, and he's probably staring back at me seeing this, and behind me I hear,
Alan, this is a problem.
And I turn slowly to him, and you see me, and my face is melting almost off my bones. It looks like my eyes are about to fall out, and marmorated stink bugs, hundreds of them, are starting to crawl out of my eye sockets and my ears and around my neck.
I blink a few times at this horrific display, and I say, that's not that helpful either, Alan. Okay, I open the door, and I get out of the car, and as I do so, I instinctively feel I really need some defense. And my blood responds in kind as I attempt to activate toughness. I roll a rouse check.
Yep.
I fail, becoming one more hungry. And I start walking towards Genghis and Dolph. Slowly, and I'm going to try, when I get there, I'm going to try and catch his goddamn eye, but again, I'm making my way very slowly, so who knows how dead he will be by the time I get there, if he is. I know that he's not going to just listen to me, so I'm going to take my glasses off and put them in my coat pocket, and I'm going to try and grab Dolph from behind and just force his head to meet my eyes, knowing this could very easily go badly.
As you are grabbing Dolph, he is not budging at all. He is in a frenzy right now. He's using strengths that you can only find when you are in a frenzy to keep himself attached and latched onto Genghis. I will need a pure strength check from you. And Matthew, I need a strength check from you as well, but you get 2+ because you're in a frenzy.
That is a 1.
It's only a 1 from me as well.
It's not quite enough. You are dead set on getting him off of Genghis as well. But he's not doing what you want him to do. His head is still completely fixated. His gaze is completely fixated on Genghis.
I'm gonna need to be more persuasive, I see. Admittedly, I suppose I would catch a whiff of all that blood just everywhere. I back away, realizing I can't get him off him. I get really angry, and I surge my blood, which does make me more hungry. But I use it to then have an extra strength dice. And this time, I'm not going to try and grab him off. I'm going to try and pretty much just boot him off him with all my strength, yelling, "You stupid idiot! Get the fuck off him!"
Okay, so you get 1+ to your strength check. You have to make the same competition again.
And I burn a willpower as well. Ugh, it's still just a 1.
Well, I'm not risking it. I'm going to burn a willpower as well. Killing this bastard is important to me. Okay, so I have 4 successes.
So this time, instead of just not botching, he actually manages to push you away with like a shoulder push. So you land on your back, essentially, on the ground. And because there's been such a long time now where Dolph has been feeding from Genghis, Genghis is dying. If no one stops Dolph in this round, you will successfully have killed Genghis and been at the arborist.
I have no idea what's going on, and I turned around to my supposed comrade, who just tells me I'm absolutely useless, and I opened the door to the car just to see what's actually going on out there. I just saw Dolph flinging himself out, and after him runs Vincent, and I'm standing up outside the car, and I'm yelling out loudly to everyone, "Well, welcome everybody to the show of the century. I hope you find it worth your while that you came out here tonight just to block our way." And the insects are swarming around me now in the air.
That's genius. Holy shit. I need a charisma and performance, definitely. You get 1- because you're basically looking like a monster with bugs crawling out of your clothes.
That's 3 successes.
Okay, so you definitely grab people's attention. And you feel like you are convincing a couple of people that this is just a show. You feel like they're easing up a bit and like laughing a bit. Oh, that's super realistic, man. And some of them are clapping, and you feel like you're actually gaining control over the crowd here.
You have been brought out here tonight by your wonderful comrade, who you now see in the middle of the spotlight. We are bringing you a unique experience.
Is that guy okay?
He is absolutely horrifically going to hell, just like all of us.
Is this like a YouTube prank?
Yes, that's exactly what it is. Really good show, everyone. If the rest of you now could get out of here, because, you know, we do need to make sure that this guy is fine, we'll get him into the van nice and safe. It's at this point that giving up, removing Dolph from Genghis, I'm going to try moving Genghis towards the car, assuming that he will stay latched onto him.
And as he does that, I'm sort of making eye contact with a few of the people that are easing up and are nervously laughing, and I say to them, like, I hope you enjoyed the show.
What's your group called?
You will never know. This is the secret extravaganza coming out only to those who find the call. The secret.
Are we gonna get our money for this?
Did you pay for this?
No, we are supposed to help Genghis.
Well, if you want to donate to the cause, then feel free to give us all your money. And I take off a shoe and I toss it to someone, like, put the money in the shoe.
As I'm trying to drag whatever might be left of Genghis and Dolph with him, I kind of see this and I go, my associate, of course, is joking. Money, yes. I get my wallet out and I just start throwing notes all over the place. It's like, here we go, your money. That's 100 for you and 100 for you. I don't go to them, I just throw it at them.
We're throwing $100 bills on the ground and people are rushing towards them. Suddenly their eyes are not on the performance anymore. It's on the money. You feel like you've convinced pretty much all of them, but there are a couple that still look very suspicious. More specifically, the people that are probably closer to Genghis.
Well, also, it's at this point, I start looking around like, do we think they're all mortals?
You don't know. You don't.
Surely they wouldn't be so... I'm going to look at one of those ones that's close. At this point, just looking down at, I assume now, probably a much calmer, happy drinking Dolph.
He's still tense. He doesn't seem calm at all, but he's fixated. He's not going anywhere. He is on top of Genghis and being dragged with him into the van.
I will try and lock eyes then with one of the people who's actually close and looks concerned, and I shall try some mesmerism.
You are not close enough to those people to do that.
In that case, I drop Genghis for the moment and go over to be close to one of them and just say, could you just help me with something, buddy?
He looks at you. Where are you taking Genghis?
I do my rouse check. I don't get hungrier, thankfully. So that will be my manipulation plus dominate. Help me out, little friend. 4 successes.
Alright, well, what do you need help with?
Help me get Genghis in the car. Go over to him now. Help me pick him up. Also, I'm saying this as I assume he starts moving towards Genghis. How many here are kindred?
What?
That's a good answer. Help me get him in the car.
You're taking him someplace safe, right? Like to the hospital?
That's exactly what we're doing. Now shut up and help me get him in the car.
Yeah, okay.
And tell your friends loudly, don't worry guys, we're taking Genghis somewhere safe.
Nah, I'm not gonna say that, dude. I don't really know who you are.
Vincent frowns a little, realizing, of course, he's just delivered several commands at once, but he's not really thinking very straight. Sure, just help me get him in the car.
So he walks over, and he's bigger than you. He's a big guy, and he easily drags both Dolph and Genghis into the van. Dolph, you are slowly feeling that you are draining Genghis. There's not much blood left. You have to suck harder and harder to get the blood out, and you can almost feel Genghis being, or his aura, or his existence searching inside of you, running inside of your veins. You feel more powerful than you've ever felt in your entire life. This is completely new to you. You could take over the world right now. Your frenzy is dying down, but you are in a complete blood rush. It's like the best drug you've ever taken in your life. And you are just now completely sucking him dry. He is just a empty vessel now. He is completely dead and gone. And as you are holding him, Alan, you can actually see that some of Genghis' fingers are starting to slowly crumble into ashes. You've never seen anything like this before. This is vampire extreme.
Thank you all for coming out tonight. Now start moving the cars ahead of us, and Genghis will let you know when he needs you the next time for the next bow wow of the century.
Okay, so the cars are slowly pulling away. People are driving away and letting you pass.
And I'm climbing down from the top of the car. I don't even know how I got there. And starting to get into the driver's seat, and Jesus fucking, what are you doing to him?
Well, Alan, what he's doing to him right now is called brutally murdering him, which, we'll talk about later. I say this just as I get in. We're all in the car, and I close the car door.
I start driving as I see it open up in front of us.
Well, are you finished yet, Dolph?
I guess if I have been slowly shepherded like a docile plains predator chewing on a morsel into the van, I've kind of got like the part of the torso and neck and one of the arms and head of Genghis cradled in my arms, and I'm chewing on it a little like someone might chew on a drumstick, covered in blood and oily soot. And I'm looking at you with calm eyes now, although I imagine the pupils are completely dilated. And I'm just draining with heaves, draining and draining with all that Genghis turning more and more into ash, coating my very expensive hoodie and pants combo. There's nothing left, so I wipe my mouth on the back of my sleeve, let the remains of Genghis fall to the floor of the van, and I answer you. Yes, I'm done now.
You have listened to an episode of Red Moon Roleplaying, where we played the chronicle The Sacrifice from Chicago by Night for Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition. Chicago by Night is published by our friends at Onyx Path Publishing, and Vampire the Masquerade is published by Modifius. Our storyteller was Klara Horskjær Herbøl, and we were also joined by the gentleman gamer Matthew Dawkins. Check them out on social media and on their Patreons to support their work in the tabletop space. The intro was composed for us by the amazing Simon Kølle, and he has also provided us with all of the music for this chronicle. Check out his work at simonkolle.com. If you want to support our work, please check us out on Patreon. You can get access to bonus campaigns for Cult Divinity Lost and Coriolis there, as well as get early and raw access to all of our recordings. More importantly, that support is what keeps the show going, so do check us out on Patreon. Thank you again for listening, and see you soon again.